Hello and welcome. Jesus.
Jesus. That's what we get for going on early, man.
That is what we get.
That's
Is
what
that
we
what
get
we
for-
get?
That's what
Is that what we get?
for going on early.
Somebody who's unprepared?
We're
Okay.
usually late, and that's why, because we're fixing stuff like that. What's up, everybody?
Got to turn on a dime here. Okay.
Yep.
We are early. We should never come on early. That's the problem.
We should never just do the show at all. We're done.
It's the ambition. You know what? Icarus flew
You know what? I'm
too
done.
close
I'm
to
done.
the sun. Welcome to Hellbent Holler Live. My name is Jesse. This is my parole officer, Joe. I had to crack myself up with it. We should tell people that's how we met.
She walked into my office one day. And
I kind of had to shuffle in because my ankles were
we're still
chained together. But anyway, welcome to Hellbent Holler Live. This is our weekly Monday night show that we do for everybody.
And it don't get no better than this.
And that's it. It's
Where
all
we're at
downhill
right now.
from
It's
here.
about as good as it's gonna get. So.
But on the show here, we talk about everything from Sasquatch to ghosts to high strangeness, UFOs, conspiracies, everything, all of it. And if you enjoy the show, make sure you hit that like button, share the show with your friends, and consider joining the Hellbender membership that supports all of our endeavors. And there is lots of extra content that you get as a member, weekly extra content. So if you are interested in doing that and are able to, please consider supporting this wild, crazy project. So with that being said,
you need to keep me in camcorder batteries, which I have floating all over the damn house right now. So put that there so I don't lose it. Anyway.
I know that there is a terrible flu going around right now, so make sure you guys are taking care of yourselves and say a little prayer for everybody that is afflicted right now. I know a lot of people are struggling. Many people in our Hellbender family are struggling with that, so keep those people in your mind. And just definitely up your zinc, guys. Take care of yourselves because it's a bad one. It's a rough one going around. So, with that being said, Kathy Grant said, "What did you guys smoke for dinner?" Ribs. I wish.
Anyway.
I wish. Yeah.
All
All right. So, we wanted to talk today a little bit about. We've been kind of going into Sasquatch a lot lately. We've really been diving into Sasquatch.
We were wanting to get into Dogman, and we put a call out to the universe for like Dogman, like stuff, leads, new cases, witness reports, and the universe was just like, "Nah, don't really see that happening for you guys. Instead, I'll just send you a bunch of Bigfoot stuff.
Just send you the Bigfoot and the crazies.
I'll send you the Bigfoot and the crazy people. So
that come along with it. Yeah. So we've been dealing with that. We've gotten some crazy Bigfoot reports recently. We've started investigating a new area that has a lot of what you would call Bigfoot activity, but it seems like it's branching off in other directions right now as well. I wanted to announce to you guys that we are releasing a video tomorrow night. It is the next installment in our Laurel Creek series. If you guys remember the story of Laurel Creek, a lady emailed us a while back talking about an experience that she had while her and her husband were out horseback riding in this remote area in the southern Appalachian Mountains. And they came around a corner and came upon a large, dark, hairy figure. And it made a very, very strange sound that I think she described it as something between a bumblebee and a rattlesnake. In the last Laurel Creek video, we got into her story more in depth and investigated the area. And we left it on quite a cliffhanger there where I scream and then the screen goes black. So you'll have the continuation of that as well as a night investigation and a following night investigation in that. I put up a teaser short for that video tonight. That went up tonight. I know a few of you have already seen it, but we do have a preview clip to show you guys if you guys are interested in seeing what we captured on thermal, some of the thermal footage that we captured while we were out in Laurel Creek during that investigation.
To kind of set the stage for you a little bit. So, and some of you have heard this story several times, others there, because there's a lot of new people in the chat right now. We were put in contact. Well, the witness was technically put in contact with us by a mutual bare acquaintance of us. needless to say,
What is a bear acquaintance?
well, not a
A-
bear acquaintance would be awesome.
I thought you said a bear acquaintance.
Like just a very minimal acquaintanceship on all of
Oh,
our parts.
a loose acquaintance.
A loose acquaintance.
Bear. Okay.
If we're going to argue about semantics all night long, but because obviously we're the weird people, so we were put in contact with this person, and it was a weird case that just got weirder and weirder and weirder, and it got weirder on all fronts. The activity got weirder, the people involved got weirder. We've been kind of dancing around this a little bit. It's been we've mentioned that the witnesses became a little agitated over the course of this, and we're erratic, and we've kind of danced around that, but we pretty much stepped away from this entire location for the time being, just due to the stuff that happened up there that we weren't quite sure of. There's activity up there. Don't get me wrong. There's activity up there, and we're going to prove it to you that there is activity up there.
You will certainly see it.
But I no longer really quite know if I trust the intentions of the witnesses. Is that fair to say? So we have stepped away from that area entirely for the foreseeable future. So we're pretty much releasing everything we've got on Laurel Creek in this next video, including some thermal stuff that we got, some very, very interesting thermal stuff that we got. The night that we recorded this thermal, the air was there was a lot of moisture in the air, and you'll see in the video, it was causing me problems with the infrared camera because the infrared light will bounce back off of the moisture in the air, and it causes just issues with the camera. Everything gets kind of hazy. It's worse in fog, but even if there's like a lot of moisture in the air, it causes a problem.
Yeah.
And the thermal, even at that point, because a thick mist or a thick fog will cause problems with the thermal imager as well. And what we were able to capture even through that was putting out a lot of body heat, a whole lot of heat.
And it was at a distance as well. So the figure that you're going to see in this clip, in this preview, it's up on a hill. And I mentioned that while I'm filming it. Joe's trying to pinpoint, where is this thing? It's up on a hill in front of us, a little distance away. So part of its body is obscured, but it is up on a hill above us. And
I thought it was in the tree. When she's pointing at it, I'm like, it's in the trees? And she's like, because she's pointing in the middle of these trees that you can see. And she's like, no, it's on the hill behind these trees. Because I don't have a thermal imager running at that point. She had the better vantage of it. And I don't know what it is. If it was a person, they were able to get out of the area without making any noise up a hill at a speed that we couldn't replicate.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is. I'm going to be honest with you, other than the LBL footage that we got, this is probably the craziest thermal. This is probably...
Well, I did get that in the Dark Corner series while we were up there. I did get something sort of up on the hill behind a tree coming out as well.
I don't even say the body language. The body movements of this, though, makes it more compelling even than that to me.
Yeah, I agree
This is weird. This is weird thermal.
Bonnie Blue McGee asked, do you have to replace the lens due to mist getting in there? No.
We did lose, however,
a thermal that way.
And I'm looking at it right now. Hold on.
So we have started getting these lens covers, and we actually got a dehumidifying box that we lock all of our equipment in when we get home, and it sucks all the moisture out of there. It's like it's like electronic desiccation. We had to get one of those because we're in rain and
we lost this FLIR monocular.
Yeah, due to moisture.
Due to moisture, and it's supposed to be waterproof up to a certain depth. And we were in like a real heavy mist, like light rain situation, and then FLIR basically just told me to kick rocks.
So don't buy a FLIR.
Don't buy a FLIR. Don't buy a FLIR.
Don't buy a FLIR. I use an AGM, and the footage that I'm going to show you was filmed with an AGM. thermal monocular. And AGM has just been stellar. It's been stellar for us so far. I love it. It's wonderful. But don't buy a FLIR because they'll tell you to go F
Kick
yourself.
rocks. Thank you, Ada Cox. We appreciate that. We love you guys being
Thank
here.
you, Ada.
Thank you so much. And then Larry Sharp, thank you. Happy Monday and prayers for everyone. Thank you, Larry. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, we do burn through equipment, even trying to take care of it. Like Jesse mentioned, we did get a humidity controlled like electronics box like that like photographers use.
It looks like a small like dormitory refrigerator with a clear door, but you lock your equipment in there, seal your equipment in there, and basically it uses electronic desiccation. Had to, because it was just, we're out in every type of weather, we're out in all the elements, and it affects our equipment.
Yeah, so we constantly will, when we get back home, we will pop the memory cards out, pop the batteries out, shove it in there, just because that thermal going out was a big hit, man. I mean, it's even a basic thermal ain't cheap, so we try to keep it and try to keep everything as dry as possible. But anyway, so Jesse got this thermal footage of it. We got a couple of extremely interesting thermal hits after getting some extremely interesting audio recordings and audio footage up there. What is going on in that area is we will hear something scream, make a long drawn out vocalization, and then a couple seconds later it will set the coyotes off.
Yeah.
The coyotes, we thought at first that the coyotes didn't like it, and it was basically a large predator making a vocalization up there, and then the coyotes from a safe distance kind of answering it and challenging it at that point. That's what we originally thought, because every time this thing will like sound off, the coyotes just go crazy right afterwards.
Yeah. And we actually captured that. That's in this video coming up. This is a long video.
Yeah, but now after the second time it happened, whatever's making this long drawn out scream, vocalization, whatever you want to call it, one of them, I always know where to get my hands out on the screen, is over here, and then we hear a second one behind us, and then we hear the coyotes answer. But it seemed like they were all three kind of moving to our spot, and I'm like, are the coyotes like kind of in on this? And you hear stories of Bigfoot being seen with coyotes and then even wolves in areas where there's wolves out. You hear that with Dogman as well, but you do hear stories that Bigfoot and coyotes sometimes have a strange relationship. And I'd never really paid a lot of credence to that. And to me, at first I was going, all right, it's sounding off again from a safe distance. Whatever this is much, much larger than a coyote. But the coyotes were kind of just sounding back and mouthing off, you know. But then when I heard this, I'm going, are the coyotes kind of, is there something going on here? Is there some sort of,
I think I even say, are they coordinating?
Yeah, like a coordinating type relationship going on there. And I still don't know that.
Mark D, member for 11 months. Thank you, Mark D. He says we're running late tonight. We actually came on early.
We came a little early this evening. So yeah,
we've been just working away today on getting a lot of the stuff ready for the release of the video tomorrow. Now we are releasing the video at 7 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow.
Yeah. Thank you, Oki. We appreciate that, sir.
As usual, we will be doing a members post show after that at about 8:15. The video is actually an hour and 13.
Yeah, and the video will be up for everybody. Video will be up for you.
So the premiere is for everybody at 7 p.m. And it's an interesting one for sure.
Bigfoot dwarf. Make sure it's not the battery on that FLIR. I'm thinking about cracking it open. It'll power on. It'll go to the FLIR screen, and then it just won't go past it. And it seems like other people just kind of trying to do some research on it have had a similar problem. But they basically want to charge you what it would cost to replace it just to look at it. And I'm not doing that. We'll just write it off. Cost of doing business, man. So
we can have like a flex where we run over it with the truck 6 or 7 times.
Don't buy a FLIR. It could be a helmet hauler. Sure. Yeah, they just, FLIR doesn't really, they don't really give a flip. They just, So, all right. See what we got here. So you want to share that little thing? You want to share that little?
Yeah, if you guys are ready, we can do that. We can go ahead and do that.
So what you're going to see on this is we went up. Jesse sees something, And we are trying to work our way down to where that is at night where she saw it. And we start hearing the weird vocalizations that seem like they're starting to converge upon our area.
Mm-hmm.
We leave out and do a little bit of other stuff, trying to find a better route down to there. And then we come back the following night, kind of ticked off. So we kind of like change our equipment load out a little bit. We upgun a little bit. We're carrying a little bit heavier firepower and go back into that area. And Jesse captures this thermal image that she's going to share with you right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long this clip is.
And some of this is on that preview, but I just wanted to kind of give the run up and a little bit of context of us capturing it. So let's all take a look at this together.
Just talk to me.
Uh,
Are you seeing something?
I don't know.
Are you recording?
I am. I am recording.
Are you getting a heat signature?
I think I am. It's very weird. It's... It's humanoid in shape.
So there was that. Silence.
Still don't know, man.
It's humanoid in shape.
Still.
Yeah.
Play it one more time.
Yeah.
Play it one more
do it.
time.
It's humanoid in shape.
Now, keep in mind, I can't see what she's.
You go ahead and talk.
I can't see what she's seeing on this, so I'm trying to flashlight around at certain spots, but I'm trying to like not use the light a lot, very much to possibly scare off what she's seeing. It's just weird, but I can tell by her voice when she's telling me this that she's seeing something out of the ordinary. So anyway, just play it one more time for us. Just talk to me. Are you seeing something?
I don't know.
Are you recording?
I am. I am recording.
Are you getting a heat signature?
I think I am. It's
Pause
very
it.
weird.
Pause it.
It's...
The dark things that you're seeing there are obviously the trees. So this is whatever's seeing right now is
These
to
are
the
trees.
Yeah, is to the side of the tree.
Up on the hill.
Yeah. Go. Damn.
It's humanoid in shape.
What's interesting too is it looks like there's two there. You see something that looks like it's almost crawling on the ground on the left, and then the tall figure comes out from behind the tree area there.
And it's not right behind the tree, but it seems like the tree is between us and it just kind of
looks around at us. Yeah.
And then goes back in. And the other thing, we've blown the footage up. We have like reversed the image colors, everything like that. Almost looks like it's something like on all fours. Would you agree with that?
The first, yes, on
Yeah.
the left side there,
Yeah,
it
it looks
agrees.
like
It
it's-
looks like something's on all fours, and then I said the one on the right looks like something upright. So I think there's probably two somethings up there. At
One
least.
that's on all fours, and maybe it's you hear about Sasquatch doing the spider crawl. That's maybe how something that's so tall can avoid being seen as much as it's seen. But then we've also, what the other thing that intrigues me about this is we heard the coyotes answering this, and it seemed like the coyotes were moving in as these two things that were screaming that were not coyotes.
Yeah.
Does it have a coyote with it?
I didn't even think about that.
Does it have a, is it?
Did you just think of that?
No, I thought of it like the other night. I thought well, that's right. We didn't talk about it.
No.
I'm wondering if it's whatever is screaming, does it have a coyote with it? Or is it another, let's just say it's Sasquatch, a Sasquatch on all fours with it. That's with it. I don't know. I just don't know.
Holy crap.
Curtis, thank you so much for that. Curtis, every week you're such a great supporter of the project. We appreciate it, my friend. We definitely appreciate it.
And then Werewolf 93.
1 second, Bryce.
Oh.
Joe and Jesse, glad I caught alive. Bryce is a good cat. We've talked about some activity that he's got up near one of his family's properties. One of his family's properties, like Bryce is just, he's like the Rockefellers. But they've got some property that they were having some activity. Please keep my wife Amber in your thoughts. She's having hip replacement surgery on Wednesday. Amber, I hope it goes well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I might be behind you. My hip is killing me. Werewolf. Good Lord.
Thank you, Werewolf.
Thank you so much for that. We greatly appreciate it.
See, now we're in the pocket of Big Werewolf.
We're working for Werewolf.
We
now.
work for the Werewolf now.
Nothing we say can be trusted. Oh, my Lord. They're just doing the bidding of Big Werewolf. Thank you
Listen,
for
everybody, the werewolves are fine.
They're fine. There's nothing to worry about.
Just wander into the woods.
They're just a werewolf propaganda channel. We've seen it.
If you want to just smear your body in bacon grease
and go out there, nothing's going to happen.
Cool.
Listen, studies have proven that those people aren't being carried by werewolves. It's coyotes the problem. Thank you so much, Werewolf. We greatly, greatly appreciate
This
that.
is an anti-coyote campaign.
The werewolves. We're taking all that werewolf money. Mushroom Hammer. You guys are the best out there. You keep it real. Nothing exaggerated or scripted, and always a scientific approach. What's weird is that we're going to try to share a little bit more with you guys. We just share the exciting parts with everyone.
Yeah.
We do a lot of data analysis. We try to gather a lot of data. There's a lot of the boring stuff that goes into this. Matter of fact, Jesse had us running around this weekend trying to find the remnants of an old plantation house. That
was a great weekend.
So we're trying to run. Matter of fact, how was your weekend, Jesse?
Oh, let me just run it down for you. I crawled through thorns and brambles and briars on all fours, looking for at least something, a brick. Perhaps a small brick, something to indicate this was the location of this plantation I've been searching for weeks now, to no avail. But I did find evidence of a possible voodoo ritual underneath a tree, so that was good. So that was great.
That's how our weekend went.
Yeah.
We're going through, and we were recording all of this, obviously, but we are in our new research area that we have been talking about a little bit. And that has been extremely interesting. It's been unlike anything else we've dealt with so far.
And we'll be releasing footage from that area coming up soon, because I think we're leaving Laurel Creek for a bit.
And that's why
after tomorrow's video premiere. And we're going to go ahead and introduce you all to Blackthorn Lake.
So that's why this video for Laurel Creek's to be kind of big, because we were basically just we still got a lot of footage. We had to pare it down. We'll probably release some more of it later on, but we're done with the area for a while.
Yeah.
The human element has gotten too concerning up there and too confusing, and quite honestly, too threatening at this point. And I'll just be honest with you. If we're out and we come face to face with a cryptid, a dogman, a Bigfoot, or whatever, and it is a hostile encounter, and we are able to live through it, and bam, we've got a type specimen after that. One of the most famous people in the world at that point, if we're able to get out alive. If we have a hostile encounter with a human, even if we are not in the wrong, we got a lot of problems at that point.
We've got a lot of problems.
We got a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Just getting out of navigating the aftermath of that.
Did we discuss publicly the encounter we had up there? Or did we discuss that?
We haven't discussed that. Let's discuss that after the video premieres.
Okay.
And then we'll kind of because at this point, I don't care.
Okay.
We've been kind of tiptoeing about it because the witnesses got a little erratic after the initial contact.
It was a human encounter, by the way. I don't want everybody thinking.
Oh yeah, it was a human encounter, but at this point,
fought a Bigfoot or something.
At this point, we're just washing our hands of it. So at this point, I don't care. After the video premieres, we'll just talk openly about everything that's happened at that.
Yeah,
point. If that means that equally crazy witnesses don't contact us after that in the future, thank God. Okay, because this has not been pleasant. This has not been pleasant to. Not been pleasant to deal with.
A lot of people are saying that they have heard that these creatures keep coyotes as their pets, that they have,
and I've heard those stories.
Heard tale of them working together, working in tandem.
And I've heard those stories before, and we've had a couple of cases of something screaming in one direction that's obviously not a coyote, but then the coyotes start up a few seconds afterwards answering. That happened in the Grove a couple of times. It set the coyotes crazy.
Yeah. And then Tammy has a good point here too as well. Could the one on the left been an infant as it crawls with an adult?
I don't know because I can't get a sense of size for it.
Yeah.
It seems pretty decently sized, but I can't tell. We don't have I mean, it could have been an infant peering out around the tree at us. It doesn't give me that impression with
Yeah.
the body proportions, but I don't know. But whenever we've heard what could possibly be a Bigfoot or Dogman vocalization in the past, if that's what they are, and then the coyotes answered, I always just figured that it had riled the coyotes up.
Yeah.
That if they had been around it, they'd probably turn tail and run. But from a safe distance, you know how like when you walk a small dog past a yard, or like you say you walk a large dog past a yard with a small dog in it that's safely fenced up, the dog's just is very brave at that point because it knows that there's a barrier there. It can't get hurt. So it's just gapping up a storm. But if those two same dogs, large and small, were side by side, the small dog would just run away. Okay. Turn tail and it would haul butt out of there. That's the impression that I always got from this, is that the coyotes were from a safe distance, kind of just challenging back to it. Or, you know, they were riled up and letting their displeasure be known at this other large predator in their area.
Yeah.
After this, it sounded like the coyotes were answering and were almost taking direction from whatever else was out there and that we were hearing. Would you agree with that?
I do, yeah.
Because we've got
Because it seems like there was some
somethings-
sort of communication, I guess.
We've got two something
Trans-species communication.
Something screams, something else screams and answer on opposite ends from us. And then the coyotes go off from a third direction. And then they all seem like they're kind of moving in on us together. And that made me go, all right, the coyotes are not answering from a safe distance because they were moving in with these things. Are these things coordinating with it somehow? Or is whatever the big thing is directing the coyotes what to do? That sounds crazy to me, but that's kind of, and because I've always heard the stories and I'm going, Bigfoot keeps coyotes as pets. They're kind of like, you know, they have kind of like a mutually cooperative relationship. It just sounds like wishful thinking to me. But then this happened and I'm going, there might be something to those stories. So
I got some stuff marked down there if you want to skittle.
I see that about the nursery area. Do you agree or disagree on the nursery? Possibly. I don't know. I don't know. We don't have enough data. And for right now, we're not going to have enough data because we're stepping away from it for a while.
Yeah.
Brett, we're going to talk about that some more as far as like the people aspect in the woods, but I agree with that. And then PBS Sandman, hello from Sweden. Do we have anybody from Sweden? We've got Lars from Norway.
We do.
But
I don't know if we have a Swedish contingent.
Yeah, I don't know. And I haven't seen Lars either. Lars, if you're listening, I hope you're
Joe's
doing
wearing
well.
his Fuel Raven top today. So
I am doing
he
that, so.
wanted to welcome you the right
Yes,
way.
exactly. So, all right. So a lot of people talking about coyotes and Bigfoot.
Or coyotes and dogmen. Don Moore says, no, Joe is not crazy. I've heard audio of dogmen howling between coyotes. You know, interesting thing about that. It wasn't the last time we were in the LBL filming with Small Town Monster. It was before that.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Martin Grove's area that he was attacked in 1993. We actually went out to that area. We've investigated it several times, but we were out there around dusk. And every time we're out there, and it seems like dusk is when it really stirs up out there.
Mm-hmm.
We're out there, and all of a sudden from the woods, we even recorded this. I never even shared this audio, which is interesting. We'll have to share this eventually of us out there. We capture this unearthly scream / howl, this bestial scream howl from the woods. And right on the tail of it, a pack of coyotes just gets set off. And we've heard that pretty consistently.
But the impression I walked away with is like out there in other places, the Grove, and even the first time up around Laurel Creek, the first couple times it happened. It even happened on a live stream we were doing. Something started screaming, and we started the live stream early because we were streaming with the field equipment that we can, you know, satellite stream with. And we started it early because something was screaming there. And then we caught the tail end of that scream. And then we caught the coyotes. We were like, all right, the coyotes are like, to me, it just sounded like something announcing its presence, just putting a challenge out to the night. And then the coyotes, again, from a safe distance, answering it, you know, a counter challenge. And that's how I took it. And now I'm just kind of going, are the coyotes like, the coyotes sound like a bunch of little Renfields, to be honest with you. We're here, master. Give us your bidding. That's kind of how I'm looking at it now, is that are the coyotes just kind of going, hey,
we're in Nosferatu
here.
world, so it's Hernok.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're in Nosferatu. Nosferatu rules everything now. So that's right. I live with a spooky chick who, when Nosferatu came out, that's our lives are divided into pre-Nosferatu and post-Nosferatu.
This is a Nosferatu channel now.
That's all we're going to talk about. It's Nosferatu. Kind of going through here to see what else people have, but it
Read sent an email. I'm gonna take a look at
50 years around the sun. Happy to catch you live tonight. Love the commentary between you two and the community. Thank you. Welcome tonight. Yeah, the community is a big part of what we do here. The community this is always kind of a back and forth. The chat is quite honestly, we could probably just not even do this one night and just have 2 empty chairs here, and the chat would probably be the most interesting part.
You guys could just have at it.
Yeah, just you guys knock yourselves out. We're taking a break. Let's see here. Charity is from Virginia. What part of Virginia are you from? I'm going to guess probably southwestern Virginia, because that is southwestern Virginia is one of the most active hotspots in the country that you don't usually hear that.
Is that near the Red River Gorge? I've never really been to. I've driven through Virginia.
Let me see.
When we went to Wild and Weird Con, but I've never really explored around Virginia at all.
I don't know if it is. I'm looking right now. No. Well, kind of. Here, I'll show you right here.
Yeah.
Southwest Virginia, Red River Gorge. So yeah, it's
Okay.
fairly, it's northwest of it. But
Okay.
I'm always shocked that Kentucky is as far north as it is. To me, Kentucky, when I just think about it, always seems further south.
Yeah.
Like, I'm terrible at geography, first off, but it always seems to me that like Kentucky
Should be like down here.
Yeah, down there somewhere, but it's not. And I'm just like, oh, that's Mississippi and Arkansas. Never mind.
It's just south on the line from Washington, D.C. You know.
But
Mushroom Hammer says, pretty sure I had a dogman encounter in a cemetery as coyotes circled and closed in. A lot of dogman encounters happen in cemeteries. It seems like they seem to come through in these liminal spaces, these iron bridges, cemeteries, places of the like.
We need to find there's a couple of old iron bridges near us, but the area has grown up around them. Because I'd love to be able to go like set up a night investigation, a stationary night investigation at an old iron bridge, because the dogman activity around old iron bridges really just always fascinates me.
Yeah.
Just like the Bigfoot activity around abandoned human structures always fascinates me. Why are they there? Why are they attracted to that? Is it something as prosaic as just like shelter, or is there something deeper to it than that? In the new area that we're investigating, like I said, there were some smaller homes that were there that were taken over, and the land was taken, and they kind of fell into ruin. But we know of at least three
large plantations.
3 large plantations in the area. So there were all of the associated human evils that come along with having a plantation in the South, the slavery aspect and everything. There's a mass grave at one that they're not quite sure what happened, who the people are.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like they did much above and beyond just identifying that was there.
That was in an earlier study of the area.
But there's an area that we found that has an old water tower type thing that's fallen and collapsed. It's just laying there. All the wooden elements have rotted away. The metal tank portion of it is rusting away, but it's still there.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild. And we really want to set up there at night and do a night investigation, but the area is crisscrossed with wells and barbed wire. And that kind of factors into, we talk about the dangers of doing this stuff. And obviously the human element is something you got to really take into effect, because it seems like that's getting worse and worse. Jessie mentioned she found what looks like the remnants she initially just leapt to like voodoo ritual, but we found these bones.
Well, here's what's interesting.
Tree
What's interesting about that incident is you guys watch our videos. You're familiar with how I am a magpie. If there's anything interesting, I want it. I'll take it and I bring it home with me. Poor Joe walks out of these areas with
20 pounds heavier than I go in.
20 pounds heavier than when he goes in. He has bottles, he has rocks, he has all kinds of things. Because I'll see something, I have an affinity for it, and I bring it out. We found this bone, and it's half of a bone actually, half of a longer bone. It's about this long, and we find it, and we find a couple other things around it, and I look at it, we talk about it, and Joe goes, "Do you not want to take that?" And I said, "Absolutely not." So you definitely knew it was serious when I'm leaving it behind, and I said that this, to me, I had the I don't know why, but I had like the feeling that this was part of some sort of working, that this was somebody's working, and I didn't want to mess with it. I didn't want to take it. So that it was going to be a bad situation if I did. So,
but so you have that, and it seems like, at least in our neck of the woods, it gets.
Thank you, Michael Tovar.
Yeah, thank you for that, Michael. I'll put that up. Can't wait for tomorrow's episode. Thank you for Jesse and Joe. We appreciate it, Michael. Thank you so much. But the human aspect of this is getting worse and worse. If you just take the cryptid and the weirdness aspect out and you just kind of set it to the side, just the human element seems like it's getting more extreme.
I feel like people are getting a little crazed.
People are getting like weird out there, man. People are getting weird out there.
And extreme.
And even we've seen people out in some of these like rural areas, like these more like just kind of tucked away corners. We saw a group coming out of the woods one night. We were actually driving out. We were on an old road.
God, the feral gang.
The feral gang. We thought, we came home and we're like, are they shooting a movie out there? This was bananas. And I'm going, we got to turn around and take a look at him. Jesse's just going, I swear to God, if you try to turn this car around right now, you're not turning this truck around. Keep going. They're coming out of the woods, and like they wear what looks like buckskin pants, and they've got like spears and axes and furs. There's a van with all the windows busted out, and it's like all rusted up, and there's a deer skull mounted to the front of the van. And I'm going, what the hell? Is there some sort of like post-apocalyptic reenactment thing going on out here? What, man? But they're all like armed with like, they might have had firearms. I didn't see any because the axes and the spears jump out at me at first, and I'm going, what the hell? What the hell's going on here, man? Just it's bizarre. But then it's the remnants of human civilization, because so many of these areas we're going into, we set up to do a stream, what was it, a couple of weeks ago, and we set up to do a stream in this field, and we're kind of walking around the area where we have our satellite uplink, and there's like just an old car rusting in the middle of the woods, man. And from, again, when the area was populated before the land was taken through eminent domain. And the amount of wells that we're finding in this current area, and barbed wire, and something's putting broken bottles in the trees. When you see it, it's okay. I mean, obviously you can dodge it, but going through at night, and especially when this area comes alive in the spring, it's going to be kind of hard to see some of these. Mm-hmm. It's going to be pretty freaking dangerous. Just the wells at this point.
Oh my God, bananas. We found a well. Do you want to talk about that well?
I wish you were digging that clip. I wish you had that clip ready to play. We found a well. We found one that's been concreted over that you can see.
We found several wells,
but most of them,
this one's so bad,
are like at ground level, and they're just covered with boards, and the boards are rotting away. A couple times we've gone back up, because we're stepping out into a well. We found one that it looks like it had been bricked over, but the bricks have collapsed in. And Jesse, of course, wants to look in. So I've got her, she puts her chest strap on her backpack, and I make sure that that's all secure. And I grab the handle on the back of her backpack.
Yeah. And I take my camera.
And I'm filming out to the side.
And I got a flashlight in my camera, and I lean in. I lean over, and he holds my backpack so I don't fall. And I lean in, and just to get the shot of what is down in the well, and I film it.
And for those of you who were on the live stream that night where we found the old car, we found a bunch of women's shoes that were, some of them were half buried, but two of them were.
And they were shoes from like the 1960s?
That something had dug out, and they were just setting on top of like the pine needles and the leaves and all that. And I'm going, all right, something has unearthed these shoes. What do we find in the bottom of the well?
A child's shoe.
A child's shoe,
a
just
little girl's shoe.
on top of all the debris in the bottom
Yeah.
of this well. And we're like, what the hell? I mean, like, should we be out here right now? Again, it might just be, I don't know, man. I don't know how a kid's shoe could end up at the bottom of a well like that. We didn't see anything else grim down there. We didn't see bones or anything like that at all. Just like we didn't find anything
I think
grim.
that's grim enough.
But just the well itself, I'm going, it's just, this area that we're in currently, Blackthorn, is going to be the hardest area for us to investigate at night.
Yeah.
Just because it's damn near impossible to do.
We're going to try to not let it kill us.
Try to not let it kill us. Man.
And that's another danger is, we'll talk about the human element, the human danger that's in these areas. People are absolutely insane. And especially they're insane when they can go out to a place that's very remote and they can get up to no good and sort of get away with whatever they're doing. But another thing that is insanely dangerous about doing Bigfoot investigations specifically is going out into these areas that for the Hellbent Holler world, we had this bingo card, basically. The areas that we seem to have a lot of activity in, they mark off all of these things on this bingo card. It's almost like there is a recipe for having activity of high strangeness, of Dogman, Bigfoot, that it was a place where there was human habitation. There is a negative history, human misery. You've got bodies of water. You've got all of these elements. You've got a bunch of different other elements. But with it being a site of former human habitation over the years, you have barbed wire, you've got wells. We found so many wells over the past few days that are just open, and it's just the ground and vines, and then, there's a little hole there. Oh no, it's a hole that goes straight down. You don't know how deep it goes. It's very, very, very dangerous. So
and I think I might even deploy the flags.
Joe might deploy the flags.
Yeah,
we're thinking
the
about
flags out.
marking these wells during the day when we do kind of our scouting.
Yeah.
And then that way, when we do night investigations in these locations, we are not going to fall into a well.
But here's the deal with that. There's so much manipulation of the environment out there. And again, I'm just gonna flat out say it. I know at least a great deal of it's not people, because people aren't moving these stones around that we're finding out there moved around. These giant, several 100-pound, I never know how to move to get my hands on them. There we go. These giant stones that are like stacked up on top of each other. They're being moved. That ain't people doing it, man. That's not people doing it. If it is, these guys are taking a lot. They spend most of their time in the gym, and I guess are just deciding to, I'm going to go out now in the middle of nowhere and just stack.
What do you call it? The autistic powerlifters?
Autistic powerlifters running around out there just stacking stuff. PCX Esquire, Pork Chop, one of our ballers, holler ballers, said, look up Stuckey's Bridge, and all I found was Stuckey's Bridge and the ghost of Old Man Stuckey.
I think about a little Stuckey roll.
That sounds like a Hellbent Holler Scooby-Doo type thing we need to be doing.
I like it.
Old Man Stuckey. I would have got away with it. Except
it sounds on the Chunky River.
I don't know. Is that
it's
what
my
it
kind of river?
What? This sounds like a kid's story. Stuckey's Bridge and the ghost of Old Man Stuckey.
And the Chickasaw River.
An old truss bridge spans the Chunky River.
I'm on it.
I'm on it. It's not right up our alley. Bigfoot Dwarf had something that we were talking about, the iron bridges. He goes, I thought iron would keep them away. I thought the exact same thing. If you look at European folklore, cold iron is a repellent to all things supernatural. And that's iron that has been worked by the hands of man, or woman, woman blacksmith. But cold iron repels the fae, all manners of of beasties out there that old cold iron will repel. Now, I often thought too that a lot of these areas that have like iron deposits seem to have a lot of weirdness to it. And I'm like, maybe it's the iron in the ground attracts strange phenomena. But then when humans manipulate it, that's symbolic of mankind's control over the environment, and something that has been made by the hands of man maybe is a repellent to the supernatural. So how would an iron bridge attract these things. And you have to like, one of the things I've learned doing this stuff for like a few years now is that a lot of the folklore surrounding these things makes sense when you view it through a lens of like of symbolism, and everything is symbolic and things have symbolic meaning. And these things seem to communicate through like metaphor and analogy and the symbolism that you're dealing with. So maybe it's the fact that something that normally they would have a weakness to has now been transformed into something liminal.
Yeah.
Because a bridge is a liminal space. It literally bridges the gap, between two places. It's neither here nor there. And it's a bridge is about as liminal as you can get. And maybe it's only that they would be weakened by is being transformed into the most liminal of all spaces, strength to them. I don't know. It's a working theory we have for it. And Michael Tovar talked about, wasn't there a story about a dogman digging up a grave at a church school? Linda Godfrey talked about that, and that was the Gadara case. That was
so. There's an interesting little aside about that. You can go ahead and talk about that.
But that was in I can't remember which book that was.
That was a churchyard. Linda Godfrey did talk about this. It was digging up a grave, and it looked over at the night watchman, I believe, and said Gadara. Something kind of interesting as an aside to that church is adjacent to the place where Rosemary Kennedy was kept after her botched lobotomy.
What made that story even stranger is that you just had a hard stop and then you just stare at me. I'm just going, okay, botched lobotomy.
Put that botched lobotomy in your front pocket there.
I'm on Linda Godfrey's blog right now. R.I.P. Linda Godfrey.
God, that's a cool.
Yeah, I forgot how cool her blog is, man. Good Lord, this was just, Linda Godfrey was just, you know what though? But here's the deal is that, you know who's kind of carrying on Linda Godfrey's torch nowadays?
Our boy Aaron.
Aaron D's carrying that torch on. So Aaron is doing the is going to probably end up being the successor to Linda Godfrey. But yeah, that was in one of her. I think it's like, was it Werewolves in America? Is the book?
Jeff Matlow, deploy the flags.
I had those flags. I got those flags for Bigfoot track.
I have to hear about this freaking flag.
I got the flags. They just set in the bag.
Stop looking. He's looking at the flags with like
flags right now.
With like lust in his heart for the flags.
Anyway, we do find some weird stuff.
I had to mark that one.
Yeah, we do find some weird stuff, and it's weird because we find some stuff and we just look at each other and we're like, "Is anybody going to believe this?" I mean, even for film and that's part of the reason why we upgraded the chest cams. We can always have a camera going. So when we do just stumble across something, because the Sony, the batteries weigh a lot, I have to change them out. And, but it's just those bones that she found, we're like busting through the brush, trying to like head towards we think where this old plantation is that we think might be the one that has the mass grave. And we just in the middle of the woods come across an old survey marker.
Oh,
you know, those survey markers that are there.
This was right after I heard the thing in my head.
Yeah. And we right next to the survey marker, and we're like, I'll share the thing. We're like, we did 11 miles on foot that day. And so we're probably at this point 4 or 5 miles, just no trail, no nothing. We're just going through the woods that we won't be able to go through in a couple months when it warms up. And it was hot, you know, it's been a little warmer than usual, but everything hasn't bloomed as of right. So all the underbrush is not there. The foliage is not as bad, but we find because again, there used to be homes there, plantations, old farms. We find a survey marker, and right next to the survey marker is an old kid's big wheel. Okay. From probably the late 70s, early 80s that has been put upside down next to this marker. And I'm going, these homes were all taken in the 60s. So I'm going, this is not period specific to everything else we found out there. How the hell did this
so strange to find
so weird. And it was weird and kind of spooky, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So then we keep going and we find this big circle, this perfect circle that surrounds this hilltop.
Oh, yeah, it's huge.
And then on the tree that's smack dab in the middle of it, Jesse's finding bones. And she instantly just goes, I don't know why, but I think there's something to do with voodoo.
So this circle is it's basically almost a ditch, but it's way up on this hilltop, this completely flat hilltop, and it's like a dug black, and it's black. Everything inside this like circle is black.
Weird as crap. And then we're finding bones in the trees. So we were finding these bottles in the trees and then broken glass in the trees. Sometimes metal in the trees, like old farming implements and stuff like that. Door hinges.
I found a cordial glass from
glass
from the one of the.
But we
plantation.
have started finding bones in the trees now. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
the bones. Yeah, we're finding bones.
I don't like. We found like a scapula just kind of wedged up in there.
Do you ever think you want to just have like a normal life?
I go back and forth on that. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I'll have moments where I just go, what the hell are we doing? And especially like when something's like when we break something expensive or we're just exhausted, or I get home from the mundane day job and I go, I'd really like to relax, but I have 8 hours of audio that I have to review tonight. So it looks like I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And when people will go, hey, have you seen this? And I'll be like, I don't have a normal life. I don't even know what you're talking about right now. Is Friends still the biggest TV show on television right now?
I think it is.
I think it is. Yeah. Because I'm completely cut away from normalcy like that. But then I have moments where people will go, oh, you ought to do this. And I try to do something normal. And then I just go, what the hell am I doing right now? You know what I'm saying? I have the weirdest life in the world. Okay. Every week, I strap on a 10 millimeter Glock. I grab a camera and a bunch of equipment that we either cobbled together or we had purposely made for us.
And a 5 foot tall goth girl.
And I take a 5 foot tall hot goth girl who's dressed up like Laura Croft, and we go out somewhere and we dodge dangerous humans, dangerous wildlife, and we look for stuff that's even more dangerous than that.
All the while, weird entities shoot thoughts into brain.
Jesse's head, and then we come back home and we get a few hours sleep, and then I go back to the normal life, and every moment I get, I'm still working and getting prepared for the next one. That's my life. I don't think there's any going back from that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think if I do end up like storming away from this one day just out of frustration, that's going to maybe last like maybe a day, and then I'll come back. So Travis Schaefer, my man.
Travis Schaefer.
I need more flag. I'm going to have so many flags at this point. We're going to need a room just for
refund
flags.
that right now. Send that back.
For the so many flags I'm going to have. I need to trim these flags down because these flags have the little metal stakes are too long. So I need to get some wire clippers and just get them down to a more flag manageable size. But our boy Ristol just listened to a podcast last week where it was reported that they were moving, I'm assuming Bigfoot, large stones to get to the rodent's nest beneath. This looks like we keep coming up. Jesse calls them gathering spots because we'll find an area where someone or something has moved these large stones into a ring or a semicircle and then put more large stones on top of them, almost like to make seats is what it looks like. Or they're doing some just symbols for some reason. I don't know why. We found a down tree that had old bits of metal, old farming implements, door hinges, just stuff that has rusted but not rotted away like the rest of the dwellings out there. And I'm looking at it, I'm going, almost look like it seems like I'm looking at hieroglyphics here, the way they're laid out in a row on this. It almost looks like I'm like a weird alphabet that I don't understand. So I don't know. There might be some of that going on though.
Some people are having glitching when we were talking about the kind of
the what?
Dark magic-y voodoo.
Just during that?
Occult type stuff. Yep.
Weirdness.
Yep. It was at 8:13. They were getting Sploot was getting some glitching and looping.
Bunny Blue, wasn't that the case of the LBL? They mined iron ore out of the land, so these things can move right in. That might be the case, and it might be.
That was a theory that I proposed.
Yeah.
That was a theory that I was working on for a while, and I proposed in Dogman territory.
Yeah.
That sort of level of protection was removed, and it kind of opened it up to it.
Yeah. Hope asked, Hope Wolf, do y'all ever do any protection prayers before going out? We can't, because we can't really. We have got a couple of protective bracelets that our good friend Sploot sent us, that we wear if we are going into a really active area and we were going out just to usually set audio recorders out and we don't really want anything to happen. We'll do that, but we can't do it because the whole goal is to encounter this stuff and try to record it. And that we always talk about that one time that I left a vial of holy water in my backpack and we didn't discover it for like weeks and nothing happened. We thought that everything was over because you never know. You can't force anything weird to happen. The next crazy anomalous thing that we encounter might be the last thing we ever encounter. I mean, people go into the woods all the time and don't encounter anything at all. And that might happen to us one day. But we were literally just going, well, I mean, the field investigations seem like they've dried up. Maybe we can do a podcast and just talk about weird stuff, or what do we do next? And then leaving the vehicle one night, one evening, because we were going in for like a night-long investigation. I'm going through my backpack and I go, holy crap, I've got a vial of holy water left in my backpack. And then I just offhandedly went, I wonder if that's had anything to do with why we haven't encountered anything. I'll leave it in the truck. And it was like the floodgates opened up that night, man. It was like everything was like pent up and came out. So people always tell us that to do stuff like that. But the whole goal is to encounter this stuff. So we can't chase it away. So yeah, so we usually don't, every once in a while we break out the big sploot guns there and have
the big sploot
guns with the bracelets and all that. But then
I've got some stuff marked on.
We need to go through, and William Kennedy.
We need like a William Kennedy's.
William Kennedy
hits.
has turned into a wild man with these comments.
I
just see him hunched over a computer like a mad scientist, just typing these things out. But we need to do like a William Kennedy line of T-shirts, and just have like William Kennedy sayings on T-shirts. Jim said, "Keep all the money. Don't. He's a crazy person. What can he do with money?" They probably don't let him have. I'm surprised they let him have a computer wherever he's at right now.
Well, you know what we need to do?
He's probably broken into.
We need to have Mr. Cooper manage the funds.
Mr. Cooper will send money to Mr. Cooper. Mr. Cooper is anyway.
Joe had an idea for a like a limited edition T-shirt with like a royal blue Helmet Hollow.
Where did you use that royal blue logo at?
Was that on the thumbnail for the episode tonight?
Is that on the thumbnail for tonight?
Yeah.
I'm so just disassociated from the creative aspect of this, you know what I'm saying? So although I am editing, we're going through because when we have a high tempo of field investigations, I just kind of like brain froze there. When we have a high tempo of like field investigations, we don't get as much work out because we're out in the woods all the time. So usually in the lulls are when Jesse's able to get like stuff edited and put out, so you'll get like maybe 2 or 3 days in the woods edited down to like 1 hour and 15-minute long video that still is a true representation of what we encountered. We just cut the boring parts out. She cuts the boring parts out. But I'm trying to like help her get some stuff out, but I just can't do what she does. So I'm taking some of the previous investigations that we've done and trying to cobble them down. But my stuff's going to look more like Blair Witch type stuff, just found footage type stuff, because I can't do any of the cool stuff and I don't have the creative vision that she has. So I'm basically just going boring cut, boring cut, boring cut, put it all in the same order that it happened, bam, put it out. So you'll see some archival stuff come out.
Yeah, this is going to be a Helmet Holler from the archives. My hair is like this
short.
But we find...
I'm fat. I'm looking at it going, my God, was I ever that heavy? And she was going, oh yeah, you were,
I'm much thinner in it. So I think we kind of swapped on that. But it's an interesting one. Our methodology is different. How we are is different. You can really see how far we've come with a lot of stuff, but it's really fascinating to see. I think it's a good exercise for us all to see it though. Yeah. But we find a crazy footprint out there. It's really exciting. But I'm really excited to have that from the archives footage come out.
There's no going back to normal now. You're in the deep end city boy. And then Buddy's surviving the strange. Can't imagine Joe outside grilling with high white socks and New Balances. You guys were not built for mediocrity. We have a hard time like conversing with like normal people. It's like we're very wooden and stiff and just, oh yes, did you watch the game over the weekend? Yes, the game. Yes, it was really exciting, wasn't it? I don't know.
Team A really did it to Team B.
They really they took a shellacking, didn't they? But anyway, Kaiju Ninja 1985. Besides Bigfoot and Dogman, what other cryptids do you think are out there, and are you interested in investigating them? I'm going to make a little side statement here right now that out of everything that's out there, Bigfoot's still the one thing that I'm least sure about. You know what I'm saying? We've caught some crazy thermal stuff, and you just saw one of it right there. We have found the prints, but we haven't found as many prints as you would expect that are like stereotypical Bigfoot prints, which is weird for me to say because, again, I was the Bigfoot guy and everything else was just kind of stupid. I thought there was something to do with aliens, but I didn't really care because how could like a normal person look into that? That would all be government, like secret agency type stuff, which is not true. You can go out and investigate that phenomenon, but at the time I didn't think so. I didn't really think that supernatural stuff was really just, it is what it is. I don't know, it's out there, but I just didn't have any interest in any of it. Bigfoot was where I was at. But if all the stuff we've looked into, Bigfoot is if you put a gun to my head and just went, tell me that Bigfoot's real, I'd go, I can't tell you that. I don't know. Because I think a lot of the Class B stuff.
This is the strangest robbery I've ever encountered.
The footprints we're finding look like Bigfoot footprints. We saw what I think is a dog man in the LBL on thermal pretty close and got a pretty clear thermal image of it. But the Bigfoot thermal stuff that we've gotten, it looks like it could be really abnormally large, big people out just messing with us. I don't know. We've never had a Class A Bigfoot sighting. Doing this together, I had a sighting of something when I was a kid, or maybe I dreamed it, or maybe somebody hoaxed me. I don't know. But out of all this stuff, I always come back to this because other people seem to be just going out in their backyards and they're seeing families of Bigfoot and they're having these up close Class A encounters all the time, but nobody ever really films it. And people will tell me, well, it's because you're taking cameras out. And I'm going, I don't have any interest in just having a Class A encounter and then not have anything to back it up. Not doing it. I don't want another, well, you should have seen the fish that got away story.
I will say that, Pork Chop Express is correct in this, that we did have the most compelling piece of evidence ever discovered in terms of Bigfoot. We discovered the site of the Nutbuster.
We did. The Nutbuster is, I tell you, I keep forgetting the Nutbuster. He's out here busting those nuts, man.
How can you forget
the Nutbuster? But
I'll never forget the Nutbuster.
To go back to that, though, it's just, God. Anyway. So when I say I think there's a Bigfoot out there, but when you get right down to it, it's such a weird thing to say. But to me personally, Dogman's realer than Bigfoot is, just based upon our personal experiences. It's this because again, we're finding weird stuff, but I still haven't gone, there's the Bigfoot there that left these prints, or we got a weird thermal and then I see it eye to eye. So I just always say that I think it's real, but to be honest with you, the other stuff that we have found, the strange light anomalies, we have found more strange small footprints and evidence of something small stature, like the Cherokee Little People out there, than I think we have of Bigfoot. This area we're in right now, we were thinking it was going to be just standard Bigfoot stuff, but other weird stuff has happened. But at this point, honestly, sky's the limit. I think the possibilities exist for a lot of this stuff. You hear these strange one-off kind of cryptids, and people are going, well, if there was a breeding population, you'd have more sightings of it. And I'm going, well, maybe that breeding population's not here. It's not in this reality or on this planet. Maybe just something. I always think that if there's some sort of dimensional bleed and things are just crossing over from other realities, the things that you see, well, I don't know, maybe something like a Mothman or a Lizard Man, things that are really, and I know there's been other Mothman sightings, but Mothman's mostly situated in West Virginia. There's been the Chicago sightings and all that, but that's a very regional type of cryptid. The Lizard Man of Scape Swamp.
The little Mothman.
That
we won't talk about.
Yeah, we won't talk about baby Mothman. But maybe those things are common as hell wherever they come from. Maybe they're like squirrels wherever they come from, and they're just everywhere. And that one just happened to cross over.
Yeah.
But I just think that at this point, I'm not ruling anything out, as weird as that is, man, because we hear some crazy stuff and I just go,
you never know.
Never know. I'll tell you, because quite honestly, the idea of Dogman to me a few years ago was the stupidest thing in the world.
Speaking of other cryptids that we can discuss here, when I was reading Martin's new book, he talked about water monsters, sea serpents. I hadn't heard those particular investigations. Any thoughts? We are probably never going to do a sea monster.
I can't swim.
investigation.
I can't swim.
Unless something happens and I'm forced to go investigate Loch Ness.
And you know what? And what's crazy is that we've talked about this before, that if we ever went and did Loch Ness, we'd end up doing it as a joke, like we did the LBL, because the LBL started off as a joke.
Absolutely.
Started off as a joke.
Yeah.
We're posting silly like memes about it. Dogman Summer, or we're gonna have a Dogman Summer.
I did a
Just looking at
photo with a
Dogman.
coyote head.
We have a stuffed coyote head mount in our library, and it's got a very aggressive look on its face. And we did a promotional photo, just silly. And we put...
I'm face to face with this stuffed coyote
we
head.
forced perspective, the coyote head, we put it closer to the camera to make it look bigger, and it's looking down, and Jesse's looking up, and she's got like a Glock in her hand with this stern look on her face. And oh my God, just the rush of internet gun experts who then had to correct this little woman because she had a gun in her hand, you know, was just
How dare you?
How dare you? You know, as soon as I hear a grown man say, "Get your booger hook off the bang switch," I instantly just go, I just don't even want you to say another word to me, man. You're the cringiest, most idiotic faux gun expert I've ever heard. Anyway, but LBL was a joke to us.
Yeah.
And I could see us going to Loch Ness and making it a joke to go to Loch Ness.
And then we're coming back.
And then we'll go there.
We're all in Nessie
because everybody knows that Jesse hates Nessie. The Jesse-Nessie feud. And
this
then,
is a war that is... It's a war as old as time.
Watch you have a sighting of Nessie.
A moment.
And then watch you just have this moment where all of a sudden I turn around and look at you and you're crying going, "It's so majestic. It's the most beautiful thing. Joe, we're dumping everything. We're moving to Scotland. And all I want to do is look into the Loch Ness Monster."
Jesse is Nessie.
Jesse is Nessie. The Jesse-Nessie connection. So, God. Knife check. Show him if you got him. Let's get some sanity here.
We need some weapons.
For our friend Miranda.
You know what? All this insanity, we should probably have some weapons.
We should probably just unsheath some knives and wave them around crazy.
I think we're losing it.
Yeah. I am carrying a Winkler field knife, and I think this was the last Winkler field knife from Daniel Winkler in existence, because this is when we decided to not do something weird one weekend and take a vacation.
We were going to take a couple days off.
We were going to take a couple days off and just go see the sights, and we decided to go to North Carolina. And then we went, Brown Mountain's right down the road. Let's just throw a few cameras in the bag just in case we decide to go there. And Daniel Winkler had a shop. It was actually destroyed in the hurricane that came through, and I think he got it rebuilt, didn't he?
It wasn't. I don't know if the shop was destroyed.
I think the shop got a pretty bad beating. So
in Boone, North Carolina.
We went to his shop, and I got this off the shelf there, and we weirded the lady working the shop out, telling her what we did. And she was just, I can't tell if she was interested or just going,
"Please get away from me."
Should I hit the panic button under the counter and get these weirdos who are talking about Bigfoot and Brown Mountain Lights out? But then later on, like I think it was that night or the next night, we decided to go to Brown Mountain Lights, and we got that footage that is so crazy.
It changed our lives forever.
Changed our lives forever.
So I also have the knife that I got on that trip to Daniel Winkler's shop and museum out in Boone, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I have a Daniel Winkler dagger with a sculpted G10 handle there. You come on, baby. Oh, there we are. Okay. Look, I look like a makeup influencer here, just showing this off. But it is a beautiful blacked out dagger. It is insanely sharp. Perfect for a non-botched lobotomy. If you want like a regular old good lobotomy, not one of those botched Kennedy.
Quality lobotomy. Quality Lobotomy was the name of my band.
Quality Lobotomy
was the name of my band in high school. We played the prom. We were awesome.
What if William Kennedy gave you a lobotomy? I think you'd be great.
I'm telling you, it would be great. So Saban, our boy, off topic, but Corbell, Elizondo, etc., cryptically stated there'd be a major announcement of arrival and that what we're being told was an outright lie. So 2032, we have a comparatively scary chance of an asteroid strike that they just discovered. They're having a hard time tracking trajectory of this when they can tell us anything and everything. Hold on. Where's the other one at? Did we not have the other one?
I thought I put it on there.
No. Now we'll never know. All right. Anyway, I'll find it. But I am...
Look at the timestamp and then go to the thing. Hang on. Give me the timestamp. I'll find it for you.
Where's the timestamp?
Oh, God.
Show's falling
This
apart.
is over.
This is the craziest thing ever.
Give me the lobotomy now.
821.
Okay, cool. I got you.
Not too far back.
No.
I'm going to say this while Jesse's looking, is that I have now taken the frame of mind that I hate to say this. I'm going to take all of these like UFO personalities. I'm going to take what they're telling me as a data point, but I'm not accepting anything at face value. I don't think anybody's going to bring disclosure of anything to us. I think that all of us need to work for disclosure ourselves. I think that we need to, is it down here at the bottom?
That was it. I put it up on the screen, my man.
About anything else than like, wonder what it really is. Well, that was just kind of out there. Anyway, I think that we're responsible for finding the truth. And when I say we are, and you guys are, and Joe and Ron from Wild and Weird, West Virginia. And I think that we need to start paying more attention to people who are out there physically looking for this stuff, sharing what they find, as opposed to people going, well, I've seen so many I've seen so many crazy things, and it's coming, and I can't talk to you about this, but I'll tell you about this, but I have nothing to back this up. Or
buy my book.
Or I have a very out of context 20-second clip that I can't tell you how I got it. But I'll tell you what it means. And I'm tired of the guru aspect of all this stuff, because quite honestly, none of it's borne fruit at this point.
You know
and
what?
I'm saying, I think some of them are legit.
F you to the guru.
F you, guru.
F you, guru.
And I'm tired of waiting for and I don't even know what I think about Barber, the latest whistleblower. I don't know whether he is disinformation, whether he's legit or anything like that. And I guess that's the end goal of a disinformation campaign. You don't know what's real. But I will say this, the quote he made about they can't classify the skies, and I'm paraphrasing it, I might be mixing it up a little bit, but he's right. They can't classify the phenomenon itself. They might have better sensor tech, they might have better access to information, but at the same token, the phenomenon and these phenomena are occurring all over the world. And if you don't believe that they're happening more often than a lot of people think, watch our channel for a little while and the weird stuff that we happen to run into. And I often people go, why do you think that you guys are running into this so much? And I'm like, well, I do think Jesse's got a weird connection to some of this stuff that's becoming more and more apparent.
And frightening.
I don't have a connection. I'm kind of like outside looking in. I'm kind of like, I always tell people, I'm kind of like the Greek chorus to all this. I'm just documenting it and kind of mentioning. The amount of times this stuff has touched me is very, very minimal. Very minimal. But I do think it's because it happens a lot more than what people think. And that if we get more people out on the ground with equipment looking into this stuff, we'll start to get more and more evidence of this stuff. We're just two weirdos from South Carolina. We don't have a big special effects budget, okay, or a team of special effects artists behind us to do any of this stuff that we happen to film and present it to you. It's real. It's not just.
And we're not coordinating with people to.
I'm not coordinating with.
To hoax. We don't really have any friends.
Friends, yeah. I don't know any 7-foot tall dudes who would walk around naked in the woods and let us film them in thermal. You know, I'm going to now get an email from somebody going,
hello, I am
Joe,
7
I'm
foot tall.
7'3" and I will walk around naked for you to. Matter of fact, I'm kind of into that.
In fact, can we please do a film and call it the Nutbuster?
We just lost 20 viewers as soon as I talked about naked people. People were just going, enough of this. I'm here to hear about Bigfoot. But it's real. And I think that we all need to kind of work towards disclosing this stuff for ourselves and the people around us and not worry about these, because I just don't know who to believe anymore. And nobody seems to be bringing the goods. I'm seeing people sit around and talk about they have all of this video stuff, but they just can't share it, or they just bypass the thing. I mean, if stuff happens to us and we film it, we share it with people. We put it out there.
Yeah.
I am not filming families of Bigfoot because that hasn't happened to us yet. But guess what? If it does happen to us, we're going to be able to film it, catch it on, and then we will be able to present it to the world and show it. So I don't know, man. But I think that right now at this point, I put out a thing on our Discord that we have actually today, just going, listen, I really stopped helping like a lot of other like researchers and investigators with equipment because it always just bit me in the ass. It just always did. So I was just like, y'all figure it out like I did. But I put out a thing on the Discord going, we need more cool people out looking for this stuff, because we're not going to get it we can't trust any of these gurus to present it to us. So we all, and I mean like the public, us, y'all, the people that are not sitting there on TV telling these stories with nothing to back it up. We need to get out there and we need to get to the bottom of this. And if you can't do it physically for whatever reason, a lot of y'all are supporting the effort on that. And that's what we need is
we're about to employ a lot of you for this long duration audio recorder project.
Yeah.
To listen to some of this long duration audio.
Pork Chop's talking about a spearfinger. We got a spearfinger thing coming up. We got to do it in the fall probably. Because
yeah,
that's
it's a very ambitious project. That's a very ambitious.
All the folklore says spearfinger. I think there's something to the Cherokee witch phenomenon. The Cherokee witches that they talked about, raven mockers and spearfinger, because quite honestly, the Cherokee are batting 1,000 with us so far. Where they say there's little people activity, we find evidence of little people.
Yeah.
The Nunahi, everything like this. I think that the areas where they traditionally saw large upright creatures like Sul Kalu and all that have a lot of Bigfoot reports these days.
Yeah.
So spearfinger
seems like it's a lot of this is tracking, but
yeah,
the spearfinger investigation I have planned is so bananas. We're really looking forward to it.
Reverend PC goes, the beach area in winter with those prints was still Jesse's coolest find. She's doing that. She'll just all of a sudden veer us off for no apparent reason, and we follow it. And I got the camera running, and then we don't always run across stuff, but we found some weird finds just following her.
I definitely didn't find a plantation this weekend.
Yeah, we definitely did not find that, but we did find a weird hill with a circle around it, and I don't know what that was because I mean, it's big. I'm going, is this some sort of like something left over from like an irrigation system?
I don't know.
It's not deep, but you can tell that it probably was deeper 100 years ago or whatever, but it's just weird. Sam Burton, you cannot go back to Loch Ness Monster without me. My home is 56 miles east.
I would love that.
You're going to be a tour guide up there. So
I would love that. Duck Trucker, welcome to the membership.
Duck Trucker, welcome to the membership. Thank you so much. You guys keep us going and keep us in batteries and flags.
And I think Zachary, where are you? Zachary Wagner asked, do you have to be a member to join the Discord? Yes.
Yeah, that is for
one of the benefits of the membership.
We put up most of our stuff out for the public. We put the majority of our stuff out for the greater group, but we do have a few members perks. We get a lot of like partnership and advertising offers these days as the channel has grown, but there's no way for us to really kind of do that and not maintain you can't stop in the middle of an investigation and just all of a sudden turn around and plug a product.
Yeah.
You just can't do it.
So
we can't do it.
Duck Trucker, go to our community page and there will be members only posts. There will be a link to the Discord there so you can join the conversation over at our members Discord.
Oh, thank you. Jesse the Star Child was one, I think Paul Stanley's character from Kiss. Kiss meets the Phantom of the Opera. Have you ever seen that before?
What?
Kiss meets the Phantom of the Opera?
I thought that was something you just made up.
No.
That sounds like
was it the Phantom of the Opera?
Sounds like a very child of the 70s kind of thing.
Kiss. Phantom of the Park. That is you. Boy, you're in for a treat. Good lordy. Are you in for a treat?
Is it similar to The Park Is Mine?
No, but The Park Is Mine is awesome.
Park Is Mine is one of my favorite movies. Tommy Lee Jones.
Have you seen that, really?
The Park Is Mine?
Yeah,
yes.
I love that. So,
yes. I like, yes, that's my type of movie.
The original story was actually in Playboy magazine. And I remember my uncle bringing me the cutout pages stapled together out of the magazine going, read this, you'll love it. Because I was a weird kid. I love that short story. And then I watched and that's a dated movie, but yeah, that's awesome. Corinne, thank you so much for that. And Corinne, email us at hellbentholler@gmail.com because I don't know if you have seen, but you won the giveaway of Dewey Edwards' book.
Yes. You won the book.
So get in touch with us.
Email us and give us your mailing address and I'll get that shipped out to you. And you can start enjoying the incredible tome written by our friend Dewey Edwards on the Captain Thomas Mantell case. It is so thorough. Nobody could have written this book except for Dewey Edwards. You are going to love it. And it's signed.
All right.
What you want to do?
When Dewey ends up disappearing out of a weird laboratory explosion and no trace of him is found, it's going to be a collector's item, probably worth a little bit of money. slap it up on eBay and make a dime or two.
Duck Trucker, who is our latest member, says, I've been doing hunts for Dogman and Land Between the Legs.
Cool, very cool. Be careful out there, man. It's the authorities know that
People are out there.
people are out there doing it. And if you're out there, I mean, they can't obviously keep you from going out there, but don't go armed.
Yeah, just
They're
keep an eye out.
stopping
And then
people
also-
and checking for fire.
also be aware that there are other people out there running around. So just keep your head about you.
All right.
We might close it early, or you want to keep
We're
rolling?
rolling it. We're going to close up here in a few minutes. We
Okay.
started early. We're going to close a little early. Shit, talking about wrong turn. Yeah, and that's what those people look like that we saw that night, man. I mean,
it was like you described it
wild.
as like Appalachian Mad Max.
Yeah, Appalachian Mad Max is exactly what it looked like. And we came home, and you know what? And I can't even say that they weren't filming a movie up there, and those were like extras and like a prop vehicle, because it looked that crazy. It looked that crazy. We couldn't
Yeah.
find any evidence of anybody shooting up there. But you know how low budget movies are, man. They might not have advertised it. They might not have had the permits to be up there. You got to have permits to shoot on federal land.
I got.
But if those were
Karen's-
some damn good costumes, but I still, part of me thinks one of these days we're going to be clicking through Amazon and we'll see like an image for like a movie to rent, and I'll go, those are the dudes we saw, because that's what they were so.
Wouldn't
in
there be
character.
some people with cameras and normal clothes?
I don't know, man. It's still so
Karen sent us her address, so I'll get your book out to you, Karen.
perfect. So, but man, I'm telling you, that was just bananas, absolutely bananas. Our buddy Tracker, Chica bug call, Jesse. What was your bug call? Was that the when you cicada? Okay, do a cicada call.
It's been a while.
It's been a while
I'm
since
out
you-
of practice. Hold on.
Jesse, one time, for those of you who have never seen it, we were filming somewhere and the cicadas were like we were actually on a Monday night show, wasn't it? And we were talking about how bad the cicadas were and how you couldn't run audio equipment and the cameras were picking up nothing but cicadas. We're having to talk louder than normal because the cicada, and I'm just going, there could be like a Bigfoot 20 feet away from us. And we wouldn't hear it. We're doing the Monday night show, and then Jesse all of a sudden decides to do a cicada imitation that just took the cryptid world by storm. And that
I think
cicada
so.
imitation sounded like what, Jesse?
Is
No, you did it 3 times. It was
it 3?
It was 3. So
Okay, all right.
all right, one more time.
Ignore that. And there you have it, folks.
And there you have it, the infamous cicada call by Jesse Doyle of Helmet Holler.
You're just so lucky.
This is every day of my life. This is how I live my life. Oh, Enzo asked about the flags. I'll show you. Hold on.
No, stop. Moondog said, oh, turn your sound down. Yeah, sorry, guys. oh goodness.
Standard little survey marking flags, but see the stick is too long. It's too long. I need it to be right about there.
Wasn't
So,
somebody selling like survey flags, but they had like little Bigfoots on them? Wasn't somebody selling those?
capitalism, baby? You know what I'm saying? So we ought to get like a little black Helmet Holler stencil and put a little deer skull.
You're gonna be
logo
a
on there.
flag peddler, my man.
Be a flag peddler. Screw all this.
What's the shit? What kind of shipping apparatus do you need for this?
flag magnet of South Carolina? Joe Doyle. I heard he used to hunt Bigfoot. He just sells flags now. You see that Cybertruck he's driving? Flags bought that. Anyway.
I think I'm done.
I think I'm done too.
Ristel says, Ellen, laughing my ass off. See how excited he got those flags?
I got these for Bigfoot track lines because I mistakenly thought
You notice how they have to get shaken around violently.
that we would eventually run across a Bigfoot track line. And let me tell you something right now, because this pops up every once in a while.
Blueberry says, right, City Boy was here on them.
Let me tell you something about track lines that people are always, I always see this. People will find Bigfoot footprints, like a print that looks like a Sasquatch footprint in the ground. And some jackball on the internet will go, why is there just one? That's fake. There'd be a whole line of them. And I'm always just like, they're not walking across the Sahara, dude. Okay. In the area we're in, even a 20-foot stretch of ground will have a great deal of variation in the texture and consistency of the earth there. We found a print a few weeks ago that we talked about that was on an anthill. A pretty good print too.
Yeah.
Okay. The ants were still just like ferocious, like just crazy going around trying to
ant madness.
Ant madness. But you could still see the dirt from between the toes and all of that. But the rest of the ground was hard. It's been cold. But we had one day that was a little warmer and the anthills just erupted everywhere through there. But none of the rest of that ground would have taken a print. It's too hard. Okay. But the anthill was a perfect just medium for that print to take. And we'll find it all the time. Like we found a print on the live stream we did 2 weeks ago. We found some prints. The ground was hard, but then it was like a little wet and softer through there. Moisture had collected and the ground was a little softer. And
that was the day of the woodcock attack.
The great woodcock attack of 2025. And there was the perfect texture to pick up a print. And you look at it, and when you look at that, it's more real. Because if I find something that looks like a print here where the ground is very hard, but the ground is softer here, and it would have picked up another print there, but it's not there. So obviously what we're seeing on the hard ground is not a print. It's just a depression on the ground that's suggestive of a print, because we pick up a print where it's soft and we don't see one. But when you have a print in the soft area and nothing in the hard area, that is how it works, man. When you take tracking and you learn how to track, you don't find just footprints in the beach that you just follow one from the other. A lot of times you follow the trackway direction it seems to be going, and you look for another one. And then sometimes you might go a pretty good distance before you find some other evidence of travel through there. So anyway, there you go.
Hey, I do have to say something. You know that single set of footprints you saw in the woods?
Yes. That was Sasquatch carrying me the whole time.
It was Sasquatch just carrying me.
Oh, good Lord. All right. We're wrapping it up here before too long. 40, 45, 72. Sometimes somewhere in time and space, the cicada king awakens from his eternal slumber to challenge the rival to his throne. Jesse used to do that damn cicada call all the time, man.
It took a lot out of me, actually.
Yeah, but I mean, just anytime somebody if you ever happen to find a footprint and you take a photo of it, you share it, and somebody is dogging you out.
Do they throw the flag?
You didn't find a track line. Again, it ain't unless it's the snow or unless it's a very consistent soft ground, it's not going to be like walking on the beach, man. You're not going to see every single one of them, and it's not supposed to be like that. Okay, so the ground will allow prints in certain areas better than others, and other areas prints will stay longer. If you're in a pretty spongy area, there might be a depression that you see that looks like a footprint, but it's going to disappear much quicker because it's spongy. Everything's going to kind of spring back up. So that's my TED talk.
There's going to be a thread from Not Today, Saban, in a minute. But Duck Trucker was asking, have you guys heard any bloody screams on the hunts of the night?
Yeah, we've actually got some coming out in the video tomorrow night that will be released. So EDP. I was actually listening while in the shower, so my comment is late, but cicada calls. Woo. Anyway.
All right, so I've got your Saban. Oh, wait, sorry. Get that first one there. It's at the bottom of the list, and then get the next one.
Hold on. So let me find this.
Saban.
Joe, my last thought for you is I've got to get back to work. Dealing with asynchronous routing between data centers. Immaculate Constellation was the program that has since been buried news-wise. Look up the definition of constellation and then reconsider the warning of a lie and the announcement of an asteroid with a non-standard trajectory. Just saying, if this is a asteroid with a non-standard trajectory, there has been a rumor floating around for at least a year, maybe 2 years, that there is a craft coming towards Earth from outside the solar system that is traveling it was a very decent percentage of light speed, and it's been decelerating. It's been like basically slowing down for a while, and they know it's coming. And that's part of the reason why the government was starting to do a slow roll disclosure, was because they can't stop it. They know it's coming, and they were trying to get everybody ready for it. So the fact that Not Today is talking about a asteroid with a non-standard trajectory, I wonder how that ties into that. Disclosure may eventually happen without any government involvement at all. They talk about catastrophic disclosure, and that's one of a couple of things. That's either enough people in the government decide to go, screw it, I don't care if they send me to jail. Here's where the bodies are. Here's where the craft is. These are photos that I'm going to provide you, video. Matter of fact, here's a biological tissue sample that I snuck out of a laboratory, and I'm going to give it to a major American university so they can test it.
Like a tiny little alien stick.
That's considered catastrophic disclosure.
Yeah.
It happens without the government controlling it. The other version of catastrophic disclosure is the phenomenon reveals itself to the world in a way that you can't, like the Phoenix Lights
You
or the
can't
New
stop it.
Jersey drone flap
Yeah.
times 10, where they legit land on the White House lawn in broad daylight or enter the Earth's atmosphere like in Independence Day. Just giant craft coming through the atmosphere above the cities. And Will Smith flying around with taggy one-liners. Welcome to Earth. Welcome to Earth, Jesse.
I gotta get me one.
Gotta get me one of these anyway.
With that being said, I was listening to a podcast. So Grant Cameron he's one of my favorite authors. He's actually, his book Contact Modalities actually sent me on this path to do this contact project. I was listening to an interview of Engaging the Phenomenon did with him. And they're talking about Jake Barber's, whistle blowing and everything. And Grant Cameron is so disturbed. He goes, for him to say that they're using children for these psionic assets. Well, first of all, your left side of your brain does not engage until you're 7 years old. So they have to use children who are under 7 to do this. They're going to have some backlash from that. They're enslaving children to contact aliens.
Good Lord, man.
Yes,
Well,
I
I mean, you can't put people with a great deal of like empathy and a very strong moral compasses don't usually go too far in the government. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's true.
You're dealing with people that are just basically just sociopaths at that point. So, yeah, nothing's.
With that being said, I'm running for city council.
So
now.
yeah. Anyway, we're wrapping it up here in a moment, folks.
So let's do last call. Otherwise, we're gonna wrap it up, and I'm gonna make us some dinner and get back to work. Don't forget to join us tomorrow for the live premiere. Join us in the chat tomorrow. We're going to be premiering our latest episode, our latest field investigation from Laurel Creek. And it has all the context and more footage, more thermal footage, like the footage I showed you guys earlier tonight of that thing peeking from behind the tree. There's also some crazy audio that we get, and we make some really crazy tree finds. And there's a bit of eye shine too. So there's a little bit of everything. But join us at 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow in the chat. There's going to be a live chat. And then the premiere is going to be followed by a members post show. We'll do that after at about 8:15. But 7 p.m. Eastern, everybody join us over in the chat for the live premiere of Stalked by Sasquatch at night.
And notice we finally did it.
Oh my God.
We used a red arrow in the thumbnail, but we did it because Jesse was going to put the thermal image we caught, like a thermal still. And I went, slap a red arrow on there. And she's like, I thought we were never going to do a red arrow. And I went, here's the deal. People always put red arrows up at just like a bush or like an AI generated like thing. I said, you're putting a real piece of like possible evidence up. Slap a freaking red arrow on there, man. Go crazy with it. So
you there? Are you pointing towards this bush?
So military, retiree, Viking, Celtic, pagan. Sorry, Joe, but they're lying to everyone. It's a spiritual thing. The spiritual realm is getting ready to collide with the physical realm. Look into the land that is beyond the ice walls of Antarctica.
Jesus.
I don't know what that is, but I agree with you as far as like, I think that all of this stuff, the UFO phenomenon, is a lot weirder than just the Venusian version of NASA flying through our atmosphere and landing physical craft here. And I think that the people that are, if there's anybody in the know, people like Jacques Vallée, Gary Nolan, and all of them are veering into a weirder spiritual kind of explanation for a lot of this stuff. And I think that pretty much every aspect of the paranormal and the cryptid world, it's all going to end up being weirder than just the face value explanations that people got. that the UFO phenomenon is much stranger than just alien spacecraft. Bigfoot is much stranger than an undiscovered ape. Dogman is much stranger than just a hybrid species that learned to stand upright. I think all of this is going to end up being is going to be tied into like the nature of reality itself, and that reality is a lot stranger than what we were taught growing up, and that a lot of the weird kind of woo stuff, the spiritual stuff that a lot of people snickered at, I think a lot of that is going to end up being real, and that's hard for people that are material based like I am to kind of wrap your head around. But at the same token, you have to go where the data takes you. And quite honestly, I ain't seen nothing that says so far that this stuff is explained away with just real trite and easy explanations.
So Bonnie Blue had a comment, take red arrows and make them legit. I just had an idea for a t-shirt that said, make red arrows legit again.
Yeah, because I was like, you know what, you always, because I see them and it's weird.
Oh, also pause 1 second. This is a link to the event and the video. If you guys want to go on there and go ahead and hit that notify me button to sign up for notifications.
Like we're real YouTubers
for the premiere tomorrow. We really want to see you guys there. So follow that link, check that bad boy out. Go on, Joseph.
I don't know what I was going to say now. We're talking about the red arrow.
Red arrows
I was like, yeah, you know, people, I don't watch a lot of YouTube nowadays, you know what I'm saying? But I used to watch a lot of cryptid stuff like as I could. It was an interest before it became like a passion like this. And but we get like on our YouTube thing, we'll get like suggested videos that maybe you guys should check these out. And it always has these red arrows and it's just pointing at like a wall or like there's like a tree line and there's like a red arrow with a circle and it's just like a bush that's like done.
I gotta share it. Look at that red arrow, guys.
And then so Jesse's putting that up and I'm like, slap a red arrow on there, man.
Oh my God, it's so red.
Because you're pointing at something legit that was actually filmed and you have context for it. So
look at that red arrow.
Look at that red arrow.
God, it's so beautiful.
It's very arrowy.
It points.
Anyway, it points. It does point. So, hey, South Force, I didn't see you in the chat, my friend. Hope you're doing well. So, but anyway, we're wrapping it up, y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you guys. I'll also put in our shop on there if you guys want to buy any Helva Holler swag. We do have a shop with a lot of cool stuff in it. Everybody seems pretty happy with all of the gear they have gotten so far. Got coffee mugs, water bottles, hoodies, hats. I actually don't have any hats. I'm about to get some hats. False hat joy. All right, there we go. There is that. And make sure you go over to that video and hit that notify me button. That way you get a notification when the video is going live and you can join us in the chat tomorrow at 7 p.m. Joseph?
I think I got nothing. I'm done.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us for Hellbent Holler Live. Another Monday. We've survived another Monday, everybody.
Next time, use an orange flag.
Next time, use an orange flag.
Just put a series of orange flags around what you would like to highlight. So...
All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We will see you guys tomorrow night in the chat for the premiere. We're going to have a blast. It's going to be a good one. Make sure you guys fix yourselves a hot dog and a bourbon. That's what people have.
Hot dog and a bourbon.
That's what people have on Tuesdays,
That's
right?
the Hellman Holler special. Hot dog and bourbon.
Make sure you fix yourself that combination right there and join us for the chat.
Thank you, Paul. Coming into the wire. Thank you, Paul Sherman. We appreciate it. That'll go into the hot dog and bourbon fund, apparently, because apparently that's a thing now.
I think that sounds pretty good, honestly. Right. So
let's wrap it up.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. All right, guys.